Hi, it's Rayleigh here from Sunflower Stitcheries and Quilting. Today we're going to chat quilting on the Jessie Tree Quilt by Jen Frost. So I want to go through the blocks with you and show you what I did, which might inspire you in how you might want to quilt your quilt. The pattern is available from Faith and Fabric, and there's an awesome devotional that goes with it, so you can work your way through the Advent and our journey of salvation from the beginning to the birth of Christ in 25 days. So I'll put the links to Jen's pattern and that devotional below. But anyway, let's get on with the quilting and I'll show you exactly what I've done. Might be best if I turn the camera around and I'll show you block by block so that you can see what I've done and how you can add interest and detail to your quilt as well. So starting with block 1, which is creation. So we have the world here. I've done these lines which to me represent the lines, say, on a map, and they are also repeated in the blue. If I can get close enough, there you go. So they're a little bit wavy because it's gone around the coastline of this continent. That's pretty simply what I've done there, and all of the blocks have the same, much the same background in just some general stippling. Moving on to block 2, which is Adam and Eve. So we have the fruit, which has a bite taken out. Background is the same. I've simply done some lines and added a stem to the leaf. Block 3, I'm just trying not to get in front of the light. Block 3 is Noah and his ark. So you can see I've added some waves in this blue sea, blue water. Got the stippling. I've done simple lines to hold down the rainbow, and over here we have a little bit of a feature of the rain is leaving and the rainbow has come out. The ark itself is just outline quilted. Okay, moving on to block 4, which is the Tower of Babel. So we've added an extra cloud to break up a little bit of the background. I have just done wavy lines on the foreground and created this, I guess just a building image in between. So I'm trying to hold this camera as steady as I can. Block 5 is Abraham's descendants. So the stars in the sky. So each of these stars has, if I come in quite a bit closer, that's a good one there, has a little star shape quilted in the background as well. And then it's just quilted in between. The ground is just quilted in lines to represent the rolling hills. So block 6 is Isaac and the ram. I have quilted curly wool on the ram. I've quilted a leaf shape into the bramble that is caught in, and a curve to the horn just to accentuate that shape. We have Jacob's ladder. So the ladder is quilted just to hold it down. I've added a few extra clouds into the background here and here. And this, in the clouds themselves, I have started in the center and done this cloud shape, filling those curves just to give it a fluffy effect. Then we have Joseph's coat. Have I got that right? Yes. Jacob's ladder, Joseph's coat. So again, it's actually quite simply quilted if I come in closer for you, with lines holding down each of the colors. Yes, there were color changes there, and a simple swirl going down the center for a little bit of decoration. Background is the same, where it's all done in stippling. Next we have Moses and the burning bush. So I have added flame-like shapes to the flames in both yellow and red thread. And in the bush, you can see I've added leaf shapes. And we have the block with the 10 commandments. So they have been very simply outline quilted. I've added some grass. Imagine they're resting on the grass because they would have been heavy. And then I've added wavy lines with some grass sprouting, which includes over the front of the tablets. Here we have Rahab and Joshua. So we have the Rahab's the fabric that she let him down from the wall. So the wall is quilted, just going around all of those blocks. This one here, I've added some vertical lines to create more bricks, and the sky simply has the stippling. It's dark because it was at night, and we've also added grass to the foreground. Okay, our next block represents Naomi and Ruth. So we have our wheat, our grain, and so it's quite simply quilted on the stems. And then on each of these shapes, I have quilted in the shape of a grain or like a portion of wheat. Samuel's oil lamp. So the oil lamp is outline quilted. What I have done here is add just a little shape which shows perhaps a little bit of a shine, which I've also done up here, and we've added flame shapes within. There we go. The next block is the Jessie Tree. So you can see I have quilted growth rings in the center and a wood grain on the outside, which would be bark, but it certainly gives the impression of timber. And then I have just quilted leaf shapes into the branch from the stump of Jessie. The grass area is quilted just in wavy lines, in keeping with the other grass areas throughout the quilt. All right, our next block represents David and Goliath. So the slingshot I have quilted in some repeating lines because it probably was made of timber, and the stone just in a concentric circle. The next block we have is Solomon's Temple. So I have quilted around each of the sides of it, again quite simply with straight lines, just to hold that down and accentuate that it would have been an impressive building. Here we have Elijah's altar. So again, we've got flame shapes, and I have outlined the rocks in grey thread as well. The grass is much the same with the wavy lines and the stippling in the background. This would possibly be one of my favorite blocks. This is the lion from Daniel and the Lion's Den, and I have given him quite a shaggy mane with lots of lines, wavy, a soft wave. We've given him some whiskers, and we've accentuated his what would be his mane and his shaggy fur. Our next block represents Jonah and his adventure with a whale. So the whale is outline quilted. I have added a little bit of shaping to the flipper, and we've just added a couple of lines for his belly. Now this block here is representing John the Baptist. So we have a shell which just has lines down each portion. Let's get this in focus for you. Lines down each portion and is outline quilted, as are the drops of water. So this block is representing Mary. We've accentuated the heart and we've filled in, I just outline quilted the sword. I've not gone across here because we want to emphasize that it's through, so we have not ended that shape. The next block is representing Joseph with the saw, the hammer. So each of the saw blades, the saw is outline quilted, and so is the hammer with an extra row just to, I guess, accentuate that shape, and then like a timber wood grain on the handle. Again, all the blocks have stippling in the outside or the background. Our next block is a large star representing the star or the magi who followed the star. So the background is quite simply held down, and then each of those star points is held just with straight line quilting, slightly in from the edge on the yellow, and that one was wide enough. This one I just went up and back on top, so there's sort of the shape and then a straight line. The next block represents Bethlehem, the birth of Jesus. So we have the star, which is outline quilted. We have part of the city. So that is all the blocks there are quilted in larger blocks. The shape of the roof, quite simply in grey thread. The door, I quilted in an echoing line to give the impression that it went back further, so to give it some depth. The path has got pebbles on it, and then we have the grass again with wavy lines and some representing some growth of grass. And our last block is baby Jesus lying in his manger. So we've given the manger some wood grain. We've given the straw some, texture to represent that that's what he would have been laying on. He has the halo has just been quilted in a curving line, and his coverings have been quilted in these curved lines that change direction to indicate that he was wrapped. So you may have noticed in the sashing and the border, I have quilted in a leaf and a swirl, so it's a vine, I guess, playing on the concept that Jesus is the vine and we are the branches. So it starts with a swirl and comes into a leaf. Swirl goes the other way, then we have another leaf, etc. So you can see that fills in all of the sashing across the quilt. So you may be wondering, with all that quilting, what does the back of the quilt look like? Because as a quilter, that's often something I'm interested in as well. So this is the back of the Jessie Tree Quilt. Jen has used a number of bits of fabric to create her back, and all the quilting shows up really nicely, including down here on this dark purple. You can really see the contrasting thread, and I'll hold that one up. This is the back of the lion block, and I think it just looks as good on the back as it does on the front. So you can see there is lots and lots of texture on this quilt, both front and back. So I hope that inspires you to have a go at making the quilt, and also adding some extra detail in the quilting. I had a lot of fun with this quilt, and I'm really pleased to be able to be part of this quilt's journey. So if you are interested, I will put the link to Jen's pattern below, and if you would like to chat about any of the quilting ideas in this, comment below and I'll get back to you. Have fun, happy quilting.